Hello and welcome to the Sensibly Speaking podcast. This is Chris Shelton, the critical thinker at large, coming at you for another hour of power. This week, I finally have gotten Reckless Ben and Mike on board. Hey guys.
What's up, man?
All right, this is going to be great. Now, we have done very little conversation before this. We're just diving right in. These guys are definitely high energy, so I'm just going to get right into it. Reckless, if you don't know, and a lot of people have requested this podcast, I'm more than happy to finally deliver on this. I've gotten a ton of requests to talk to you guys. Yeah, you guys are popular. So, if you don't know, these two guys are just university students, college guys, living in LA, actually, I think right around the corner from Big Blue. And they got curious about Scientology, and we're going to talk about how that happened. And they produced a series of videos that are probably some of the funniest damn things I have ever seen about Scientology. And they actually infiltrated with spy glasses, got film, got audio with their phones, came out, made these videos, talked about the experience and what they honestly thought about it in a really hilarious way. And it's a very satirical look at Scientology, and it's a good one for that purpose. So, guys, how did the idea even happen to do this?
Ooh,
that's a good one. You want to take it, Ben, or you want me to take it?
I guess I can say it. So, we had this really stupid prank idea that we wanted to do, where we would order beer inside a church and just see their reaction.
Okay.
And then some of our favorite pranksters did it the week before we were planning on doing it. And they nailed it. They did till, I think, like the Catholic church, I think.
Yeah.
And
they were like drinking White Claws in it.
it was so
and
good.
Like,
there was no way that we were going to top it. So our way to top it was to do it to Scientology. So first we were like, okay, let's just get spy glasses and go into a Scientology Sunday service, because we knew nothing about Scientology except that they believed in Xenu. It's the only thing we knew about it going into it. And we go in, and then like halfway through the service, me and Michael are looking at each other like, yo, let's scrap this drinking beer inside a church idea. Like, there's way more to this. Scientology is like endless. Like it can't be this ridiculous. Like, why? And then we look it up online, and no one's posting anything about it. And we're like, let's be the first people to show how crazy Scientology is. And that's how it all began.
Yeah, it just evolved from there.
Awesome.
That's how one started.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have a question personally, because I actually am not clear on this myself. What is slacklining? Because that's what you guys do. And then how'd you guys meet? What's the background here?
So slacklining is some weird type of crazy, like, off-brand tight-roping sport that I got for Christmas like 5 years ago. It's basically like it looks like a seatbelt you tie between two trees. Yeah, it's just a giant ratchet strap. And it has a little bit of like give and stretch to it. And you set it up and you get it really tight and you do tricks. And we got really, really good at it and started learning flips and spins and all these crazy stuff. And
it's like tight roping on steroids, though.
Yeah, it's like a 2-inch trampoline. Yeah, it's like a 2-inch trampoline that wobbles back and forth. Yeah. But you gotta keep still, I guess.
Wow.
But yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it a lot. And then
it sounds fun. It must be crazy balance.
Yeah, it's a lot harder than it looks. It looks like hard, and then you try it, and you're like, wow, this is even hard. This is really hard.
It's harder than it looks.
Like most people, the goal is just to be able to stand on it or walk from one side to the other, and they're like, okay, I'm really good at this now. I can walk from one side to the other and not fall off.
Yeah.
Right.
Some people like set it up between mountains, and it's called highlining. And you like throw on a harness, and you like literally just walk between like mountains. So they'll set it up like thousands of feet long and like hundreds of feet.
Wow.
Yeah, we're pushing the limits. But yeah, that's slacklining. And then we met because we were in the same engineering class back in high school.
Yeah, we were juniors.
Okay, and ended up at the same university out in LA.
Yeah, and then we just happened to go to the same college, and I was like, oh, I know you. And then we just started hanging out.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, you guys make a great pair as far as this goes. I really do. I like the way you guys bounce off each other. It's actually pretty cool. Is it like 50-50 behind the scenes as far as like where you guys come up with these ideas to print 500-page graphs and lay them out on a football field and do the drone shot? I mean, I was impressed by some of that.
Well, the graph one was just, I was in like a library coming up with like the script, and I was like, I wonder, like, we had a little bit where we were just gonna graph Scientology next to the other religions, so you could see like, oh, the other religions are here and Scientology's here. Like, clearly it's not the biggest.
Yeah.
But then like when we graphed it out, Scientology didn't even, like, you couldn't even see a pixel. So I was like, okay, let's just expand it. So we just kept expanding. I was just there for like an hour expanding it, just kept scrolling up, but you could never see it. And then finally, like, I was like, oh, they take out a pixel, like, let's print it out. I was like, how funny would this be if we actually printed this out and like just showed how like small they are? Because like it blew I didn't believe that they were actually that small. But
yeah,
it was a good representation, I thought.
I thought so too. I thought it was brilliant. That's why I was like, wow, this is, because like I said in my Q&A this last week, I really was impressed. I mean, you guys, you don't necessarily come off like these boy geniuses, which is not to say you come off as idiots, but you guys actually have some really smart ideas. So it's cool. It's cool. It's not a backwards compliment or some bullshit. I really am impressed with what you guys are doing.
All the compliments you want to give.
Okay, so now you didn't know anything about Scientology except Xenu and Scientology.
Yeah, and I think I might have known that it was like expensive to join, but I didn't know anything. I'm from Ohio, and Scientology isn't that big in Ohio.
Yeah, that's for sure. The church out there is.
Oh, and I knew it was written by a science fiction writer, and I always had that same thought of like, can't they just like make the comparison that a science fiction writer wrote this? And so I was confused, like why, like how is this science fiction writer able to convince all these people to give up all this money to believe in this fake story? And it was just interesting. I just got like a big interest in it. And I was like, this is like, it's very confusing why this works, and I want to know why. And that was our kind of goal, was to figure that out.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been my journey as well. I'll tell you one little funny thing. Hubbard actually said in one of his lectures that science fiction writers are writing their actual memories from the past, right? From their past lives.
That's the answer right there.
There you go, right? So
that's the answer.
Yeah.
He also said if you want to truly enslave people, you convince them that they're free.
That's right. And if you want to control people, lie to them. He's got some great memes. So, okay, so you go in there on day one, Sunday service, you're doing this stuff, right? Which I definitely understand.
And this one, we think it's hilarious. Like, we don't see the problem. We're just like, this is so funny that this is what these people choose to do with their free time. Like, this is hilarious. Let's record it and let's put this online. That was our first initial reaction.
Excellent. Oh, did you guys actually, how far did you get before you started posting? Had you?
Oh, we finished everything. Yeah, we finished everything.
Okay. So you guys have been exiled from the church.
Yeah, we tried to, so have you watched part 7 yet? That's the part
we just did.
Yeah.
So that is what we filmed. Like, we got done filming that, and then we were like, okay, let's start posting this now. So right when we did that, and then we came up with 3 more parts after that that are secret now. But
we did get invited to another party after like episode 7 was done, and we went and we tried to go and do that, but they were able to recognize Ben and our cameraman Andrew, who's right next to us.
Yeah.
Wow.
Andrew.
Oh,
and,
cool.
He's our cameraman.
And they tried to like go back in and get some more footage. I forget we had like a lot of stuff planned, but they weren't even able to get like past security.
We didn't even get to the building. They recognized him from across the street.
So I cut my hair. I had the long blonde hair, and then I cut it. We disguised myself, and I thought they wouldn't recognize me. They recognized me from across the street.
Did they really?
Yeah, we didn't even get to the building.
Yeah. They actually, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but those cameras actually are using facial recognition technology.
Stephen Mango told us that.
Yeah, that's a thing.
We were like in the neighborhood across the street from Scientology. Like, I don't think they have facial recognition cameras from across the street. So,
no, that would be eyeballing too. That's eyeballing as well.
But it's some guy that I've never even seen before. He was like, "You're Ben, right?" And I'm like,
"Yo, you're famous in the church."
Like, dang.
That's right.
We had this whole bit going where you have to show your ID to go in. So I was gonna be Ben Dover. We like photoshopped an ID to like make my driver's license say bend over, and that was gonna be like the joke was my name was bend over.
That was
and the guy was like, your name's Ben, right? And I'm like pretending to be this bend over guy. So I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, and he like runs up to the security guard. He's like, them over there. And the security's like, thank you for telling me. And then he like comes up to us. He's like, yeah, you guys aren't welcome here. We're like, well, we got invited by you guys. He's like, oh, you aren't welcome anymore. And that's about all it was.
So now you're banned.
Yeah.
Yep, that's how that works. So, okay, so you thought the group processing thing, the Sunday service thing was nuts.
Yeah.
So then what was the decision point to turn it from that into, okay, let's really infiltrate this place. Let's go all in.
I watched a few Joe Rogan podcasts on it. And I got to see like Leah Remedy's point of view, Ron Miscavige's point of view. I think I watched the other guy who did the documentary that's on Netflix. I watched like him and Joe Rogan. And I just watched. I'm like, dang, I kind of feel bad for these guys. No, his name's like Lois or something. It starts with an L.
Louis Theroux.
Yeah, Louis Theroux. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's his podcast. And I was like, dang, dude, like maybe Scientology isn't just this funny thing that we're laughing about. Maybe there's actually more of like a deeper problem. So my next initial reaction was also wrong. It was that all of the higher up people, like the priests and the other people, that they're all like scammers that are just scamming these people out of money. And I was like, oh, those are the bad guys. I'm gonna get them, you know. So that was kind of the next thing.
That was, what was her? Isabella. We thought Isabella knowingly was like trying to take our money and scam.
And same with like the priests and stuff. So we thought that they were like the bad people, and that they were the ones that were like, oh, we have this like they're the head of the pyramid scheme. Like they're the ones making the scam. They're the ones lying to us. And then we realized after like an episode in, like after like episode 2, like, oh, these people are just victims of the scam also. Like they believe what they're saying, and like the problem's like way, way bigger. And we just kept getting deeper and deeper in, and it just evolved over time.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So at this point then you had started doing the research and seeing just how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Yeah, I was like spending 12 hours a day like researching everything for like a week. I read every single article about Scientology, listened to every podcast about it. I want to know everything.
Yeah, that's how I got out in 2013. Went down that rabbit hole, you know, because obviously you guys have seen firsthand these people are not on the internet. They don't know any of this stuff.
Not at all.
Right?
I thought we feel safe about posting it is because they're not allowed on the internet.
Yeah, we're gonna ask about that.
I've seen the videos too.
What's that?
I know it. Yeah, when I went in, so once Ben got kicked out, I went in as well. We were gonna do this whole thing where it was like, we were gonna convince them that they knew we were recording, so we were gonna convince them that we were recording for the FBI. We had this whole thing planned out, and it didn't go the way we wanted because they just like ended up not listening to us and not talking to us. But I went in and told her that we were recording. She was like, "Yeah, I know you're recording. Like I've seen every single one of your YouTube videos." So they once they found out he was recording, they went on YouTube and watched all the videos to do their own research.
That was before episode 1. So
true.
If they've seen our Scientology series, who knows? They probably have. But.
Probably.
Certain people will certainly have seen it by now. They won't. They're not going to show it to everybody.
No.
But certainly all the people that you were in contact with, they're definitely going to get raked over the coals.
What do you think's going to happen to those people? Because I've been thinking about it, and like I feel bad of them getting in trouble. Not in trouble, but it's like they're getting punished for doing nothing.
You're right, and it sucks. I don't think that they're going to do like an RPF, like the ultimate punishment, right? Or get kicked out and be declared and disconnected. I don't think that's going to happen to them.
That would be best case scenario,
if they got kicked out, that's best case.
Well, in a way it is, and in a way it's not, because having experienced disconnection, I can tell you it sucks ass, you know, no matter how it happens. But I will say that they're just going to get raked over the coals it'll be a light to medium level handling for them. They'll survive. They'll be fine. It's not like nobody's going to take them out back and beat them up or anything like that. They're just going to have to go through more mind fuckery.
You pay more money.
Yeah, that's what I pay is pay more.
Yeah, exactly. So I was curious, you know, that 10-hour session you had.
Oh, that was nuts.
Wild.
I was not expecting that. Oh my gosh. So,
yeah, tell me all about that.
So they said like, hey, we're going to give you this free auditing session. this
Wait,
is
should we give him
really what
background first to it?
Scientology is like.
Should we give him background first to it?
I guess so.
Like walking in and praying for it.
Yeah, so we show up to the first Sunday service, and the guy's like, so we take the personality tests. They're obviously we're depressed, and Scientology is the only cure. Of course, that's how it works. So the guy's like, oh, we have this auditing session. This can like help you guys, and we're like, okay. And like normally it costs money, but for you guys, because we didn't want to give them any money because obviously the money's being used for a bad cause. So
and we're broke.
We were broke at the time. We were living out of our car at the time. We didn't have a house yet. Yeah. And because we just moved to California, and we say like, yeah, we don't have any money. Like, okay, we'll give you your first auditing session for free. Like, okay, sweet. And then like you could see, it took us 3 episodes to finally get the free auditing session. They weren't going to give it to me unless I bought their book and all this. They just kept delaying it. I would come back like, oh, she's busy right now. I'd come back. Oh, well, you got to do this first. Oh, and finally, I buy their book, I follow all the steps, and I get this free auditing session. And they're like, okay, it's going to be a 2 to 3 hour session. We're going to do this. And I had the funny leaf blower bit planned. And I think, so, yeah, we had a bunch of funny things.
That seriously made me laugh. That blowing the guy on that was funny.
We have like another video where we
joke never gets old.
We feed vegans like fake meat, I think. So we were gonna say that we fed vegans meat. We were just gonna like reference all of our other YouTube videos, so like free promotion, and like make it look like it's like a negative light in their eyes. But she ends up just saying like, okay, so tell me about like a time that you've had like pain in your life. I'm like, okay, what's the most painful experience of my life? Like when I broke my neck, that's pretty painful. So I was just saying that so I could see what type of questions she was going to answer me so I could think of funny rebuttals. And then we just stayed on my broken neck for 10 hours and it was weird. And then we like really got into it and I was like becoming like emotionally like into the conversation. And like, it's not like I felt like it was helping me, but it like kind of, she was like changing my memories. And it was weird because like she would actually say, okay, eventually I was like, okay, I can't like play this character for this long. So I just like was like, okay, I'm actually gonna like try and like, well, we'll just give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll see if this actually works, you know? So I was like telling the memories as it actually happened.
And you're playing along with it.
And then she would like have me repeat things. If I was ever unsure, I'd be like, she's like, so who said that? I'd be like, I don't know. And she would say, okay, pretend to be Michael and say it from his perspective. And I would like repeat it for like 5 minutes, like the line that like Michael said. And then the next time I tell the story, he's the one that says it in my mind. And after 10 hours of him being the one that says the line, when I'm done with the auditing session, I truly believe that he's the one that said it.
Right.
So yeah, like it throws you in a loop. It's crazy. I got back to the house afterwards, or my friend's house because we were living in our car. And they had me recite the story. I was like, I don't know what the real story is. I've told this story thousands of times. Yep. And I don't know which one's true, which one's fake, which one.
You were all messed up when you came in too.
It was crazy.
You were like, I feel weird. You just kept saying like, I feel weird. I feel like wrong or dirty or whatever.
Yeah, I was just like brain dead too. Yeah. That might have been a big part of it.
Well, because after that session, you had to do 2 hours.
Yeah, and then I did it, and then I couldn't leave. She followed me to my car, and she didn't let me leave. You're like,
oh yeah, and I was there watching that too, because that was crazy.
Yeah, he was in the parking lot, so.
Yeah. This dude was radio silent for 10 hours. And so I'm trying to call him, text him, Snapchat message him, Instagram DM him, like have my friends try to iPhone call him because I'm like, dude, he's probably stuck at the church. And like it was supposed to be done at noon and it didn't get done until 9.
Jesus.
So it was like 8.5, 9 hours. It was like, where's Ben? Is he held captive? Like what's going on? So I just drive to the church and I see his car there. So I just like back up and park and I wait. And I finally see him walk out with Isabella. And I'm like, oh, like, hide. So I lean down, I have my phone recording. Like, I can't see anything. So I'm just recording it, and they're just talking and yelling. Or not yelling, they were just talking. And
this is all happening in the parking lot of LA Org.
Yeah.
And the whole time you're sitting there, you're recording, no security guards coming around?
No. Well, they didn't see me. Because I drove, it was nighttime. I drove in, I backed in. And
it was nighttime. Right. Okay.
Yeah, because he was there all day, literally all day.
Yeah. Right.
We got there in the morning, and like the 10-hour session just lasted so long. And then I was literally brain dead. Like I was at the point where like I almost like couldn't make decisions because I've never done anything like that before. Like my brain isn't used to that capacity of like numbness. And then
10 hours.
And they're like, okay, you're gonna do this 2.5 hour auditing session now. It's called the enchantment class. It's a group auditing this time. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I have to go to my friend. They're like, hey, we're gonna follow you out to your car. And like I was trying my hardest to leave, and they were just very persuasive on not letting me leave. I'm kind of happy I took that class because it makes for great content.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be the basis of our part 8 storyline. But yeah, it sucked at the time. Yeah, it sucked. I remember just sitting in that class, like, just so pissed at myself. I'm like, how did they convince me? Like, how did I let them? Because my whole goal was to not give them a single penny. So I'm like, how did I let them pay me force me to pay them $15 to sit in this class? Like, this sucks. I was like, and that was just 2.5 hours of like, hello sun, hello center of the earth, hello moon. And that's about all it was.
Yep, exactly.
I'm like, I lost. I'm like, they got me because she was saying stuff like, I love you, Ben. You're awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you're a really cool guy. I think that was genuine, though.
I think she really did like you.
And like, I'm brain dead, so I'm like, I can't pay for it. And they're like, but they forced me, and it sucked.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's all the tools, man. I mean, love bombing. I love you. Like I said, my Q&A, she's disconnected from her own daughter. You know, it's like a little bit hypocritical.
All that.
Yeah, that was.
Even the daughter said, like, when she watched her mom say that to Ben, she thought it was genuine. I think it was genuine. I think she really was genuine.
So what Scientologists do though is, say I'm like really into slacklining, they'll go and look up slackline because they're forced to bond.
They're trying to bond with you,
but they actually do bond. It actually is like a bonding thing. And
establishing rapport and trust.
Yeah.
Have you considered the idea that perhaps you were hypnotized?
Maybe. I've never been hypnotized before. I don't know. That's kind of what it felt like, because they're like, take our class, and I would have never taken their class. Like, I would have never paid $15 for that, even though I had to get footage of it. I was still like,
no, you took the class to stay in character.
Yeah.
When it was done, I asked you why you did it. Like, I had to, otherwise I would have broke character, and then it would have been over.
Yeah.
So we were trying at all costs to stay in character, and like, that's what your character would have done. Was you wouldn't have said no. You would have gone and taken the class.
Yeah, it kind of did to the point where it's like they would have known something was up if I didn't take the class. They would be like,
of course,
yeah,
so of course. Like, I was talking about the Dianetic session.
The auditing session.
Yeah, the auditing session. Yeah, I believe that is hypnotism.
Yeah, that's the brainwashing.
It was weird. Yeah. It is kind of hypnotizing. You're right.
Yeah, because it's a trance state. You're put in a trance state.
Yeah.
And then you're given suggestions, and then you are going over and over memories that are obviously not recorded the way Hubbard says they are.
Yeah.
Where they're perfect recordings, and you just have to develop them like a Polaroid picture. You know, that's what's going on.
So I'm a really big skeptic when it comes to hypnotizers and people that can claim to have hypnotizing powers. Like, I don't like when the stage performers that go like, you're hypnotized, like run, like pretend you're a car, and the person's like, oh, I'm gonna, like, obviously that's fake and they're doing it to put on a show. But if hypnotism does exist, this is what it looks like, I think.
Yeah,
exactly my point. You know, I didn't want to sit here and tell you that's what happened to you, because I don't know.
This is if hypnotism does exist, this is the closest thing to it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's right to call it hypnotism though, because that happened over 10 hours, where hypnotism happens over like 30 minutes.
Well, that's like classic hypnotism that like.
It's brainwashing. I don't think you should call it hypnotism. I think it's literally brainwashing.
I think hypnotism is a good word.
All I will invite you guys to do is a little research on the topic, and I think you'll come to your own conclusions.
I think there's such like a negative like stereotype on hypnotism and like hypnotists, but I think this is like actually like the closest you can get to it is the brainwashing thing.
Well, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Hubbard was a trained hypnotist before he developed Dianetics.
Oh, really? That's actually, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and according to a guy named John Atack, who's pretty expert on the Scientology history, Hubbard actually, the original version of Dianetics was actually just straight up hypnotism, and then they changed the words.
Well, if you think of what hypnotism is, it's putting you in a suggestible state, right? I was definitely put in a suggestible state when I was there.
That's what I wanted to ask you about as far as those memories go, because if Mike hadn't been there, do you think now you would still think that what you covered in that session was the reality of what happened to you? Or do you think you would have snapped out of it? I'm just curious what your view on it is.
I don't know. I can still remember. So I actually am really interested in how memories work. I think like maybe like 3 years ago, I read an article on some like study that you only remember what you tell yourself. So your memory is like the game of telephone. So you know how when you play telephone, you say a message to someone else, that person says a message. So that's how your memories work. And so they say it's really inaccurate. So I definitely remember myself from like 2 years telling myself, like I remember telling my broken neck story. It's a story I've told to like groups of people before. And every time I tell this story, it's always, I'm in pain and it's a horrible experience and it wasn't fun.
The worst experience ever.
So after this like brainwashing session, I believe that it was fun, that I broke my neck, I guess, like that I had fun during it and that I was able to like push through, and it was like a positive thing for me. And I can remember that, like, oh, when I told this story to like other groups of people, I remember saying it in a negative way. So obviously my view on it has changed, but I don't know. I think because I'm a skeptic of Scientology, it doesn't fully work, but I could see how if I totally believed that this is actually what was happening and that I actually do go in the past every time I like think of something and I am changing the past to like change a better future for myself. I think if you truly do believe that, it would like affect how I think, you know? And
very much so. Very much so. Michael, what was your take when you were sitting there watching him come out of this session after sitting in the parking lot? I mean, you rushed down there, like, what the hell's going on? And then he comes out and he's looking a little like peaked, and he's got this woman following him, like, where's the money? Where's the money? And I got to tell you, these guys have really fallen far, because it's pretty pathetic that they're chasing you into the parking lot for $15.
yeah.
I would never chase anybody in the parking lot for less than 5,000. So I don't even know where they're, they've fallen pretty far.
I mean, that's good news to hear then.
Yeah, no, it is. It's very good news.
It's also more than just the money, I think. I think they, at least when I was at the party, I was talking to all these crazy Scientologists. Like, you could see the conversation I had with that one guy that you used to work with. But I think more than the money that they're concerned about is they're concerned about, they think Scientology is the only solution to save humanity. And they think that if I take this class, that's one step closer to me joining Scientology to save humanity. So I think that's the real thing that they were following me out to the parking lot with. It's we need to follow you out to this parking lot, because if we don't, we're doing a disservice to humanity. I think that's like the real reason, not the like $15. They could go on the street and find $15 in quarters probably faster.
I think they just wanted you to join the church because you're like a unicorn to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that. You guys walking in there, in the Purif one, you had a couple other people with you, but what were there many other people coming in, or did you see new folks around?
No. So
yes. When we were doing right after the Sunday church, there was a kid that came in. He was like 15. And
that's like one kid.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But there was like the one kid. That was it when we were there. There was one kid who said he wanted to. The Scientologist people said, the mom said if he wants to do it, then he can do it. And he's like a 15-year-old surrounded by all these people. It's like, of course he's going to say it. They're all telling him to do it. But that was like the only people.
There was like 4 people. So in all the courses I took, there was 4 people. There was that one guy who I tried to convert, who was like the weed guy who I wanted to get him to start working out with me at Planet Fitness.
He commented on the video.
Yeah. He's not, he doesn't really like us anime
Yeah, we're not friends.
Which sucks, because he was such a nice guy too. Like, I was like really pushing for him. And then there's another hippie guy who has been like homeless all his life. He's like traveled the world. He's like a traveler, a nomad, I guess. He has like the hippie hair. He's like, I'm just trying to experience new like realities and stuff. And I don't know where his head's at. And then there were like 2 other guys that just looked like homeless people that have done a lot of like meth in their life. And
that's what I looked like, homeless people. I wanted to ask about that. I was like, are they really pulling in homeless people for this?
Those were the 4 people in the there purification and the enchantment class I took. Those were like the people that were in there. And there was also this other. He was like kind of my age. He kind of seemed like some insecure little kid, and I kind of felt bad for him too, because he was like that guy that would just believe anything that they said, and probably wasn't that good at his own decision making, it's sad, like the type of people they go after. But those are the biggest religion was full of those type of people in the classroom.
Wow. And so, Michael, I wanted to just ask, from your perspective right after that session and, watching all of that go down, what were you thinking about all this?
When I saw him talking to Isabella, I was First I was excited because I was like, okay, cool, finally.
He's alive.
He's alive. He's going to be done. And then I get to hear like what's going on. And then boom, disappears again. I was like laying there. I look back up and there's bam, he's gone. So I'm like, God dang it. So I wait a couple more hours. But finally he gets out. We finally get to Victor's and he comes in and he tells me the story and everything. And I had him sit down. I was like, okay, I was there with you when you broke your neck. Like I watched it all happen. So like I remember because it was funny because once he broke his neck, the next day we went to West Virginia because we were gonna go do a high line. It was supposed to be my first high line. So like he didn't go to the hospital until like days later. So it was like literally terrible. Like it was a terrible, terrible experience. We had to turn off the music because the music was hurting his neck. So it was like, it was a important memory. And he starts telling me it again. And the thing that was different when he was explaining it was that when he broke his neck, she was telling him that, or you were saying that it was, you were lucky that you didn't break it and that you should be thankful. Where it wasn't that he was thankful at all. He was freaking out when he actually broke his neck. He was freaking out. It was bad. I could see it in his eyes immediately. So the difference was like when it actually happened, you were freaking out. You were worried. You were in awful pain. And it was when you were like telling it back, it was like you were lucky. You were thankful that it was such a close call. So it was like it was shifted in a way of it was like kind of a positive, which was weird. It was weird. That was the main like difference.
Interesting. Okay, so now you guys in and out of this world multiple times, multiple experiences at different points. You get recruited, you do the Sunday service, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
Did you like how fast did it really click that, this wasn't just strange stuff, this was like a whole culture, like you're talking about a bubble world these people are in?
I think it was when I watched that Joe Rogan podcast. That was when it went from.
Which one?
I think I watched the Leah Remini one first, just because I typed in Scientology and that's just the first video that shows up.
Yep.
I just watched them all in order. I was like, I'm gonna watch all these videos from start from the top, just watch every single one down. So,
Mike, did you watch videos too, or?
Yeah, the Ron Miscavige, Leah Remini. I was watching.
I watched a lot of Joe Rogan.
Yeah, a lot of the Joe Rogans, like doing research and just articles and stuff on it.
Cool.
And yeah, I think that's when we were like, wow, this kind of sucks, and we have the opportunity to like show it to people, I guess.
Yeah, the shift definitely happened after that audit, because before it was it was all fun and games, and we were just doing this.
The audit was the turning point.
It was fun. We were just having fun with it, and then that audit happened. And we were like, whoa, this is real, because like truly the auditing sessions, I'm convinced that's the brainwashing and the hypnotism. That's where that's where you're screwed, because if you truly believe, like if those people actually believe that you can go back in time and you're reliving it, that's how they get you. And I think that's why it didn't work on you. And you even said that yourself. You're like, you don't believe you go back and relive these experiences, because that's impossible. Right. That's impossible.
And, yeah.
But that was the turning point for me.
That was the turning point. I remember coming home.
You were messed up.
I think I said, I walked in. I'm like Victor said, like, so how's like the prank on Scientology going? I'm like, yo, it's not a prank anymore. We just got personal. Like, we gotta get back at they messed with my memories. We gotta mess with them. I was like, yeah, it's no longer a prank. We are getting our revenge.
Got it. So were there other things that maybe didn't make it on camera or make it into the final cuts that you guys saw or experienced or heard that you think people might want to know about, as far as like how this bubble world works?
So most of the things we cut out, for all the people that want to see the full footage, most of what we cut out is just us waiting. There's a lot of waiting. I think also because they don't have a lot of staff there, and like most of it's just wait, and they're like, hey, go watch this video while you wait for 2 hours or something. So we cut a lot of that out.
What about the party?
The party?
Because when you were at the party, that was wild.
There was a lot of parts of the party that, so our spyglasses record for an hour and a half. And I was at that party for maybe 6, 7 hours, 5 hours. And so there was a lot of things, like crazy things happened at the party that I wasn't able to record, that I was so mad about. Just like talking to different Scientologists, and I ended up recording.
The Savage thing.
I recorded my interview for the Sea Org because I thought that was going to be like the highlight of the party. Because they're like, oh, here's your interview. I'm like, okay, I have to go to the bathroom really quick. I start the spyglasses. And I'm like, this will be good. Like my interview for the Sea Org. And then the spyglasses died, I think, as I was walking off stage when they were announcing me. So it was perfect timing for the spyglasses to die.
I love that scene.
And then afterwards, me talking to all the Scientologists, we were talking about great stuff that I wish I would have had spyglasses for. Just people come up to me and they're like the people I've been working with this whole time, they're like, there's not enough time. Like, I think they're like, yeah, there's not enough time. Like every single second has to be working towards Scientology, because if there's a second that you're not working toward, that's a wasted time and stuff. And like, you just get to see how dedicated they are towards the cause.
The cheering for the Ron Miscavige too was kind of funny.
I wish we watched David Miscavige speak.
Yeah, we had to redo that. If you watch, I think in episode 6 where we like stand up and like cheering, and like we redo that. Like that wasn't a joke. Like it's a joke obviously, but it's like it's funny because of how realistic it was. He was saying like every 5 minutes people would stand up and just yeah, and they would just be doing it for like 30 seconds to minutes. It was just standing.
It was a 4-hour speech, and I guarantee 2 of the hours was just a standing ovation. There was 2 hours of 2 hours of standing ovation. And at the end, David Miscavige would go like hip hip, and everyone would go hooray, and it was like hip hip, they would go hooray, and that went on for maybe like 2 minutes. I'm just sitting there like, what is it? Everyone around me's crying. They're like, oh, Scientology. Yeah. I'm just there like bored out of my mind. Like, when is this hip hip hooray gonna end? I'm like,
this is a god to them.
Yeah, it is kind of scary.
Yeah.
We were like, we have to recreate this, so we did our best recreation we could do with a limited budget. But
right, through After Effects, it was good. And yes, that was I think I mentioned in the Q&A. It was funny to see how much is still exactly the same as I've been saying all these years and stuff. So it was nice validating in that sense. Now, what really got me in episode 7, which you just posted, was they catch you, but they caught you for all the wrong things. Like I could not believe.
I was able to convince them they were just Snapchat glasses that have been dead for like 3 months. I was like, there's no light on when I record the glasses. Like when they're recording, the lights are off. So I'm like, these are dead. And they like totally bought it.
And then they also, you're on camera saying to your auditor, a friend of mine mentioned to me the word Xenu and asked me to ask you about it. But then later, he's saying, you must have been online researching this. It's all on you. You're not being honest about this because you use this word, which is not what happened. And she was there. I mean, it was interesting to see how they messed up internally in relating their own information about what happened.
Yeah. When I did mention it to the Ermine lady, she's ended up saying to me like, hey, it's fine. I'm like, I just asked because my friend asked, and I'm really interested in Scientology. I just want to learn more. Like every time someone tells me new information about Scientology, I just want to know about it. So when I heard Xenu, I'm curious if that's a thing you guys actually believe in. She's like, oh, I've never heard of it before. And I'm like, okay. What is that word? I'm like, if you've never heard of it before, then clearly my friend's lying. And that's the conclusion we came up with, was that my friend was lying at the end.
Right. So actually, it was actually presented in a completely innocent scenario. You didn't do anything wrong. You weren't even online researching. You know, your friend mentions it.
It kind of worked for Comedy Central, though. So in their head.
And how did they think that? That was crazy.
So I was on Tosh.0 like the month before this. Yeah. And I think
we talked about it, that we were telling them about that.
I was like, I'm on Tosh.0. And I think their assumption was, since I appeared on the show Tosh.0, I must be working for Comedy Central. Yeah, that's the conclusion they drew from that.
We had that meeting with that Instagram guy.
Yeah, and then we had a meeting with an Instagram guy. So they went through my whole phone. They looked through every single text message I've like ever sent.
Straight snooping.
And yeah, they
crazy psycho
because if I didn't, so everyone's commenting on the video. They're like, how'd you just give up your phone so easily? Like, why don't you have a passcode on it? And it's like, I do have a passcode on it, but we got to the point where if I didn't give them my phone, I was gonna be kicked out of the church. So
I had the same character.
So I was like, I don't just want this to end because I'm not giving them my phone. So I'm like, I don't care. I don't have anything to hide on my phone. I actually did all my research on my computer. So it's like, they can go through my phone. They're not going to find anything. And they went through it for like 6.5 hours. It was literally just of them going through my phone and like, why'd you send this text message to Michael? Like who'd you guys meet up with? Like, I see that there's an influencer that you met up with this morning. Like, that's the guy from Comedy Central, right? And I'm like, no, we talked about hashtags.
I wish, dude.
Like we just talked about like which hashtags are trending and how to get in the TikTok algorithm. And And he's like, that's a guy from Comedy Central. He's like, you guys are lying. I'm like, we're not lying. Like, I'm literally telling you the truth right now. Like, and
this is probably the guy who's joined the Sea Org most recently, so he thinks he knows everything about social media. And I just think that I thought it was the assumptions I thought were hilarious.
Yeah.
You know?
They don't know anything about how technology works. He would have my phone. He's like, they didn't know I had a camera. I actually had a bunch of stuff in my camera roll that if they would have seen, they would have like, I would have been exposed. But they didn't even know that like you can store photos on a phone, I think. Yeah. So they would always say like, where's the footage at? And I'm like, there's no footage. Like, it's got to be saved on a computer somewhere, right? Like, does Michael have it? I'm like, no. But when really it's just on my phone, they never thought to look on my phone for the footage. They would just go through text messages. They went through my Instagram, my Snapchat. They went through everything that didn't matter except for the one thing that did matter.
Wow. And so, Mike, now while this was happening to Ben, were you concurrently going through any other classwork or seminars or any of this other stuff?
When Ben was going through the audit, or going through what?
Just this whole experience, just during the whole time, because it's mostly focused on what he's doing, and I was just kind of wondering what
unfortunate event happened.
Yeah, so in episode 1, if you watch it back, you can see that I have glasses on too, and I don't have glasses on now. Those were also spy glasses. So we had bought 2 pairs of spy glasses together, 2 different kinds, because if they were the same kind, like the same exact identical pair, we figured that would be a more risky situation of them like finding out. So I got a different kind.
You got the more expensive ones.
Yeah, I got a more expensive ones, and it was like $20 more. And that one had a malfunction with it or something. It only recorded for like 20, 25 minutes. So that's why like all the spy footage was on
the battery port actually stopped working and we couldn't charge them.
Yeah, so it was supposed to work for like 3 times as long as it did, and then we couldn't charge it. So we sent it back. And since I didn't have spy glasses, it was like, well, there's no point at all for me going in. So then Ben would just go in, and I ended up becoming I was like the scapegoat. Like when he needed to leave, it was like, oh, well, Michael, because we were actually in the process of getting a job then, just like a part-time job. And so it would be like, oh, I got to go pick up Michael, or, oh, I got to go do this job interview or whatever. So I was always out when he was kind of doing these. But when I could come back in, I would go in with him. So like when I went with you to
the next Sunday service.
For the next Sunday service.
I was gonna air it episode 9.
Yeah, and that we got some footage in there too, and I went there with him for that. But he was recording only with his spy glasses.
Okay, all right, cool. That clarifies things.
And then it wouldn't have made sense if he went in with my spy glasses because they already saw him with the original broken glasses.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
But I did later with the spy pen.
Yeah,
and that would have been really good footage for you guys, but we made a mistake and didn't put the SD card in.
Okay. All right. Well, obviously, you guys picked up right away and maintained, that this whole thing's pretty scammy.
Yeah.
So now, from everything you talked to, people you saw, etc., right? Why do you think people can still get sucked into this thing? I mean, like that guy with the Purif who
people
was
want
like,
to be accepted.
Desperate. They need to be accepted.
I think that's what it comes down to. Because I felt really good for my time of being there. Like, it was fun being there and having everyone say, like, oh, you're the slackline guy. You're awesome. Like you have, if you continue with Scientology, great things are going to happen with your life. And you're headed down a road of success. We're going to save humanity. We're not going to have war. Drugs don't help. They're just a Band-Aid fix. We'll offer you true happiness. And like,
I think I got it. The people that are drawn to it are like broken and have problems, and they offer a solution to your problems.
Yeah.
And they provide a solution to you to fix what's wrong with you. Like the guy about the smoking weed in the sauna. He's like, I have this problem with smoking weed. Now I have this memory thing. And then she's like, oh, awesome. Like, we can fix that with the sauna. And they're like, oh,
we can handle it for you. We can handle that.
So I think I think that's a big thing.
Yeah, I think I might have said that a few times in the years I was a Scientologist. We can handle that for you.
Yeah,
we can handle that for you.
That's right.
We can definitely fix that.
Okay, now
that can be handled.
Now, at this point, having done the research that you've done and seeing how it does go to some dark places sometimes, you guys are right there. And a couple of people have expressed to me, and I've also thought myself, you guys are putting yourselves in some crosshairs here and messing with the church. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are about that.
What do you mean by that? Sorry.
Oh, okay. To be clear, the church has a practice of retaliating against critics.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
So we've gotten this comment a lot.
Everyone keeps saying
the way I respond to it is then like hopefully they do, and we will record it, and we have some great stuff planned for when they retaliate.
It would be a mistake on their part to do that.
And we are actually kind of sad that they haven't retaliated yet, because we do have some great stuff planned, and it will be a loss of content for us if they don't. So bring it on. We don't have a dog for them to poison. We don't.
Steven's dog apparently got poisoned by them. When we were talking with him, is what he said.
No, it's multiple. There's a lot of celebrities, dogs that they've poisoned too. And
recently.
Yeah. So bring it on. We might put a stuffed animal dog for you to poison in our front yard, but
what are you guys worried that they'll try to do to us?
I'm concerned about a longer term campaign against you, where I'm concerned that they might try to mess with you in terms of your education or opportunities that you might be presented in the future, stuff like that. The one thing about Scientology,
education. We graduated. Sorry to cut you off. We graduated. Like, I've graduated college. She's graduated. So the education thing, we're good with that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Maybe I misunderstood that position. All I'm trying to say is that this is something you'll want to be paying attention to for a little while, because it's not necessarily if they don't do something right away, that means they're not doing something. Sometimes they amp up for a long-term sort of thing, and I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that.
They probably also know how smart we are, so they're probably just thinking of ways to outsmart us right now.
Good luck.
So we got to be smarter than what they think we are.
They're pretty dumb.
They are pretty dumb, but they can. I mean,
they've got money. They've got a lot of money and resources.
Still poison dogs. They still call them fake bomb threats and stuff. And,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not trying by asking you this to discourage you. I'm simply wanting to make sure you guys are aware that that's a thing.
I'm aware.
Yeah, that way it won't discourage us.
Cool, man. Well, okay. So now you guys have what? 3 more episodes planned, right? 8, 9, and 10. Now you've let me in on something. We're not going to let the whole audience in on this, but what's the future plan here? What are you guys looking at?
Step 1, we have to get money to do the stuff.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing, because we are broke.
So part 8, part 8 is almost done. We've been filming part 8 for the last month now. Yeah. So every single day, no breaks, like 12, 16 hours a day, we've been filming part 8. And then part 9 is going to be like where it goes from, like, part 8 will leave you with a lot of questions. So, but if you can make it through part 8, part 9 is going to be like up here, without giving too much away. That's where all the questions will be answered. And then part 10 is like going to be our grand finale, like stunt on Scientology, and it's going to be awesome. Yeah. And we currently do have a GoFundMe for our part 10 stunt, which is hopefully going to be like our grand finale. Yeah.
And a huge, like, if anyone who's donated is watching this, like, dude, awesome. You got, like, the community of the Scientology is honestly insane. It's something we didn't expect. Like, we did the GoFundMe, we didn't promote it. We've got like $1,100 from that. And then all of the comments, they're like, we just scroll through comments and read comments and just like laugh. And it's amazing because everyone's so nice.
You're like, I'm donating because I want to help take Scientology down.
Like, I love your guys' series. I've been binge watching it. Like, I'm rooting for you guys. You guys are our heroes. It's just awesome to see. So like, it's cool to see all the anti-Scientologists supporting us, which is, it's just something new. I've never had that.
Also, you can find the GoFundMe link in all of our YouTube description videos. Yeah. It's like in the description.
Dude, the last is going to be epic.
Also,
it's going to be so epic.
Every single penny that is getting donated is going towards this stunt. We're not keeping any of it.
Yeah.
We're using every single penny that gets donated to take Scientology down, hopefully, and to make them really stupid along the way.
Excellent. Well, they let me in on what the final stunt's going to be. I'm not going to ever spoil it. I'm just going to tell you guys, I think it's pretty cool. I think they should be given a shot at this. So the link is also in the description to the podcast here and at sensiblyspeaking.com for this week's episode. So check it out. And if you want to donate, go for it, right? I'm saying I think it's going to be cool.
Awesome. Thanks,
all right, guys. Thank you very much for giving me your time and answering my silly questions here and letting the audience know what's what. This has been enlightening. It's been interesting. And you guys are pretty gutsy for doing what you're doing. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for interviewing us. This was fun.
Yeah, glad you had us on.
Awesome, guys. And folks out there, any questions, comments, feedback, leave it in the comments section on YouTube or at sensiblyspeaking.com. If you have questions for these guys, leave them there. I will send them the link when this posts, and maybe they can come by and check it out.
Yo, leave a like. Leave a like.
Subscribe.
That's right.
Yeah, subscribe to this guy. It's cool.
Excellent. All right, guys. See you next week. Bye-bye.